Invitation to be in this panel. My presentation is focusing around the PRoTECT project. Just explaining you what we have been doing over the last, well, little less than 2 years in protecting public spaces against terrorist threats. It's a EU-funded project, DG Home, from the so-called ISFP funds, the internal security funds for police. I am from the Dutch Institute for Technology Safety and Security, and together with EFUS, which is the European Forum for Urban Security, and 11 other partners, we have been active in this project. Yeah, thank you. And two major pillars within our project. The first one was to develop a vulnerability assessment environment for cities. The second part is to develop a technology assessment tool for the cities to handle or to prevent, but also to repress situations of terrorist threats. So our focus was on identifying spaces, public spaces of interest, so-called soft targets. And the word soft is because it's open. It's not a closed area in most cases. So you have to think about transportation hubs, squares, shopping areas, nightlife areas, cultural venues, places of worship, and other institutional venues. Those type of public spaces are usually open for the public. Within the tool that we used, which was already developed by the European Commission, the Vulnerability Assessment Tool, they identified 6 phases for each, to look at for each of the public spaces of interest. What we did, we used that tool and then organized 5 workshops with the 5 cities that are within our project. Those are the cities of Brasov in Romania, Malaga in Spain, Eindhoven in the Netherlands, Vilnius in Lithuania, and Larissa in Greece. And together with those 5 cities, we organize workshops. I will explain a little bit more about it so that you can learn from our lessons learned. Yeah, you can go to the next. So what we did on top of the tool that was developed, 2 partners, mainly 2 partners. I already mentioned EFUS as the European Forum for Urban Security, together with TNO. They worked on a manual that is extra to the tool. The tool is actually a spreadsheet, but the spreadsheet has no functionality. It was mainly to visualize what type of activities had to be done. We made a manual on top of that to vet and tested and developed it together with those 5 cities. Apart from that manual, we are currently in the process of writing a number of fact sheets that will be published later on. So you can get it from our website also. That can support you and the cities, the local cities and the civil servants that are in this meeting to start thinking about protecting their public spaces. Yes, next. Oh, one back. So the second part, I mean, we do have this vulnerability assessment manual, which is currently publicly available. Another partner in our project being Crommert from Greece, they have been working on what I call a PRoTECT manual, which is more a whole procedure for cities, for European cities, and actually every city, to increase the protection of public spaces and soft targets. So This manual will have a methodology for investigating the potential available solutions that help you mitigate a given security breach in your city and identify vulnerabilities. It has 3 steps. It is the security self-assessment, including the vulnerability assessment, but not only the vulnerability assessment. Then step 2 is to scan for solutions that can help mitigate these identified security gaps and threats. And the step 3 is that to organize field testing and demonstrations of the identified solutions. So within our project, we are executing all these 3 steps together with these 5 cities and report on it with deliverables, of which the most important ones will be made publicly available. Next. So again, the 3 steps. Step 1, as mentioned, including the vulnerability assessment. But if I look back at the 5 workshops that we have, for me, the most important win of organizing these workshops was that each city had to identify internally the responsible stakeholders within the city, and not only within the city council, but also with the involved police and health services and fire brigade and communities that are active in the city, business communities that are active in the city, terrorist organizations from the higher level government, everybody that has a role in terrorist attack and trying to prevent this, and bring those stakeholders together in a workshop and then have them discussing their role in preventing and better protecting public spaces, which opens up a lot of eyes because not everybody knows what the others are doing in situations like this. So it does help you to get a much better and broader look on everybody involved in as a stakeholder in protecting public spaces. So if you decide to do, oh, no, we have to go back, sorry. Yeah. In step 2, we wrote within the project a so-called request for information. We published that one, and doing that, we used this request for information to collect solutions that can then be identified. Yeah, and in the 3rd step, we are now organizing demonstrations, although that is pretty difficult with the COVID-19 situation and asking people to travel to the 5 cities. Next. Yeah, oh, sorry. So we had a lot of response on the request for information. There were the 5 cities identified numerous numbers of proposals, and they went through the whole evaluation process. We do have a technological evaluation framework, which is also publicly available on our website. I will give you the name of the website later. And we had solutions from 9 different countries, including Canada. Next. So to conclude, the RFI results and the vulnerability assessment manual are available at our website. And the PRoTECT manual with the 3 steps will be made available after the project, which is Q3 of this year. And I would like to also mention to you that there is a series of web conferences being organized by EFUS on 17th of February, 17th of March, and the 28th of April. There are 2 new projects where we are involved in. The first one is Secure for All, together with EFUS, in developing and testing training material for cities. And the other one is a new project concerning the protection of places of worship. And on my last slide, you can see the website protectcities.eu, where you can find all the documents and information that I mentioned.